Y'all ready? It's time to talk ball with Spunky Spectrum. Let's ride! Ow. Woke up in the morning, coffee in my hand, another season about to start. I'm the fantasy man, scouting sleepers, crunching numbers late at night, building rosters that gon' shine under them lights. From rookie watch to big revenge, I see it all, stacking points while the league's watching me ball. Best ball drafting, no waivers, just pure skill. I'm taking shots, watch the whole league getting killed. Yeah, the grind don't stop, the picks stay high. When the money's on the line, I connect the dots. We're talking fantasy football, best ball drafting deep. Spunky Spectrum spinning, put a league to sleep. 15 grand on DraftKings, cashed it like a king. Now the whole damn country know I run this thing. Yeehaw, raise them up, another W in the books. Fantasy king, got the trophies and the looks. From the podcast mic to the big check in my hand, this is Spunky Spectrum, boys, the fantasy man. Best ball season.
Yo, Big D here, talking about all things the Major League Baseball trade deadline, driving top deductions, Spunky Spectrum Sports. See me on Twitch, that be the Big D 3300. Also Facebook, DYLANSCHMITTLEO. And you know what? At this rate, I think I should go for like 3 top prospects. No, I'm kidding. But craziness with trades. Tarik Skubal, a rare interdivision trade involving the Red Sox and Orioles. Luis Ariz, the one guy not striking out and actually putting the ball in play, unlike a few guys in this game. And a few other wild and crazy moves that were made this past week or so. But what's a trade deadline without a blockbuster? And I think we all saw one Saturday night, Sunday morning. By the way, I'm back in the 239. I'm back at home, so late flight last night from Springfield, Illinois, back here. But I got some sleep, and I don't know how we're cranking, but we're gonna crank it through. We're gonna crank it through this show tonight. But Tarik Skubal, we know, best pitcher in baseball, and now he's gonna make his debut for the LA Dodgers at Wrigley Field in a half hour. So yeah, Dodgers Cubs will be at 7:30. So by the way, Tarik Skubal yesterday became the 3rd reigning Cy Young winner to be dealt to the defending World Series champ, that being Cliff Lee 2009 to the Phillies, and Justin Verlander back to the Astros in 2023. So interesting. You're seeing what transpired, but we know Tarik Skubal was one of baseball's best pitchers, and the Tarik Skubal news dominated the trade deadline for not just days or weeks or months, but years. Even going back to 2024, the question was not if the Tigers would trade Tarik Skubal, but when. And any number of teams were interested in Skubal. But the Dodgers ended up getting Skubal. Now, there are all questions whether or not the Tigers really put Skubal out there for other teams. I've heard some chatter, and actually read some tweets about how the Tigers only called the Dodgers. Whether that's true or not, we may never know. But it is questionable to me why the Tigers would only call the Dodgers, because if I were the Tigers, if I was Scott Harris, I'm thinking I want to get more teams involved and maybe force the Dodgers into giving it more than they want, or maybe another team could jump them. But in this case, it seems like the Tigers were hell-bent in making a deal with the Dodgers. And Andrew Freeman, when he makes the deal, he makes a deal. I mean, the Dodgers don't cheat, but they all light years ahead of everyone. well, everyone compares the Yankees and the Dodgers. The only thing the Yankees and Dodgers do is spend money because the Dodgers are like AI, the Yankees are like a flip phone. Because the Dodgers scouting staff is like here, the Yankee staff not so much. And even we saw the trade deadline, and I'll mention the Yankees, but the Dodgers not only want moves, they get stalls. LA's a stall-driven town, not just showing your time. We saw the Rams get Myles Garrett. Lincoln Riley's coaching USC. Luka Doncic is with the LA Lakers. Harbaugh and Herbert are with the Chargers. Everybody wants to play in LA. And Tarik Skubal knowing he's going to be a free agent, no, and the Tigers knowing they're going to trade him. And of course, Skubal is now a Dodger, so now Skubal goes to LA, make his debut for Zaire Hope, River Ryan, Brady Smith. I mean, Dodgers gave up two top 100 prospects. I mean, Ryan. I think Ryan could be some kind of a pitcher. I mean, Zaire Hope's definitely the big prize. By the way, I think they got him for Michael Bush a few years ago, first baseman for the Cubbies. But you know, some people want. Do the Dodgers need Tarik Skubal? No. Were the Dodgers the favorite without Tarik Skubal? Hello, it's your boy Nathan. No, but you know what? The Dodgers are going for 3 straight World Championships. No answer league team's done that, and frankly, not knowing what the CBA is going to be going for, the Dodgers like we want Tarik Skubal on the whole team. Team Hope was the number 25 prospect and Ryan number 68. So Dodgers have questions. You know, we saw the Dodgers get swept at home by the Red Sox, and last night the Dodgers lose in Wrigleyville. This Dodger team is old, and it's only getting old. I mean, some of these contracts are not great. I mean, Mookie Betts looks like a declining player. Freddie Freeman's in his mid-30s. The Oscar Hernandez. Even Shohei Ohtani, he's not 100% dealing with what knee and bicep issues, forcing him not to pitch. So Dodgers also have injury concerns. I believe Blake Snell is going to make his final rehab start tonight. Tyler Glasnow just starting a rehab assignment. So both those guys be back. Snell may be back by the end of the weekend, early next week. Glasnow should be back middle late August. But you know, by the way, Jamila, is that how you say? Thank you for that. But the Dodgers figure out ways of getting process, despite not having a great draft pick, despite not having the greatest bonus pool. The Dodgers always find guys 9th, 10th, 11th round. They find guys internationally. And what LA has done better than anyone is draft, develop, and get the absolute most out of guys. And that means potentially trade guys. You know, some of these guys you look at, guy they got Hope. Well, there's not a Hope saying a Hope place for this team. So guess what? Dodgers trade him to the team in the Tigers need an outfielder. Perfect. But look at the Dodger rotation. They have Tarik Skubal, the two-time AL Cy Young winner, Yoshi Yamamoto, potentially Shohei Ohtani if he's healthy, Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow. Nobody's beating that rotation in October. Nobody's beating that rotation. They have all health concerns with 3 or 4 guys. Remember, Skubal's already been on the IL this year with that nanoscope injury, but For the Dodgers, simple. We want to win a world championship, and who cares about prospects? So I expect Tarik Skubal to go in there and pitch like he did in Detroit. But the Dodgers, you know, be interesting to see how Skubal likes LA because there's a chance he gets, well, depending on what the CBA is, a few hundred million reasons to stay. And it's funny, Tarik Skubal's last game as a Tiger, up 7-0, ended up blowing to the Baltimore Orioles. So, you know, and now onto the Tigers. Detroit was in a no-win situation, a little like Shohei Ohtani. The Angels with Shohei Ohtani in 2023. Skubal, there's not a chance the Tigers bring back Skubal. But the Tigers don't want to lose Skubal for draft picks. So instead, Detroit got prospect. Now, maybe Detroit would have been better off trading him at the deadline a couple of years ago, or maybe offering Skubal a fair deal where he doesn't get shafted with that arbitration number that, frankly, gained Skubal more credibility and lost Detroit any hope of signing him. Yeah. But Detroit had come within 2.5 games of a playoff spot, and yet the Tigers ended up dealing Skubal. I mean, who knows? I mean, Detroit ended up dealing Casey Mize with Melton, a couple other guys, potentially Jackson Jobe coming back. But interesting, a few teams right around that 2, 3, 4 games out traded prospects for impactful players, the Padres being one, Rio SCO 647. And a few teams ended up more or less selling. The Astros trading Luis Garcia, the Cardinals trading Dustin May and Jojo Romero, the Orioles trading Adley Rutschman. I'm going to get more into that next. But, in this trade, I don't think Detroit got enough for Skubal. I think Detroit should have waited until the deadline, see what other teams offered, and maybe another team be willing to pony up more than what the Dodgers did. Now, a couple teams may or may not have been willing to give up top prospects. I mean, the Tampa Bay Rays and Milwaukee Brewers were interested parties. But seemingly the Brewers did not want to get rid of Jesus May, but he wasn't going anywhere. Maybe Luis Pena, maybe Luis Law, Jet Williams, or the Tampa Bay Rays. We're not going to get rid of Theo Gillen for 2 months, of Tarik Skubal. But maybe they would have given up one of their catches, Caden Bodine, maybe Nathan Flew. But I think Milwaukee's the big loser of the deadline. Not just failing to get a big time starter, but skiing Skubal to the Dodgers. That's like a double whammy for Milwaukee. But the Brewers did get Dustin May and Jojo Romero. We'll see what happens. If Romero will be a good piece to the bullpen. We'll see what he does as a depth starter. But I think the Dodgers not only won the deadline, they made the biggest splash that we've seen in many, many years. I mean, how often does a reigning Cy Young winner get added to a World Championship favorite? But it happened this time. And still, the Dodgers have a really, really good farm system despite ponying up 2 top 100 prospects. So, does this mean that there could be a work stoppage with the Dodgers getting everyone? We'll see. But, I don't think the I don't think the Dodgers have done anything wrong. I think what the Dodgers do better than anyone is not just draft, develop, but get the right kind of players, trade the right prospects, or sign the right players. You know, go after Shohei Ohtani, Yoshi Yamamoto, Freddie Freeman. I mean, and then this offseason, go get Kyle Tucker or Diaz. And the Dodgers think 5 years ahead. They're like, we want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Andrew Freeman has always been has probably been baseball's best personnel guy the last 20 years. He just now got more prospects and more money now in LA than he ever did with the Reds. So now on to potentially the most interesting and consequential deal. And it's not Tarik Skubal. It's the rare AL East trade involving the Boston Red Sox and Baltimore Orioles for a former #1 pick. Boy, the 2019 MLB draft is one that we're going to be talking about for a long time. Adley Rutschman going 1, Bobby Witt going 2, a few other guys in that draft. Stott, I think, was in that draft. Coleman Carroll, a few other guys. Bryson Stott, thank you. But Adley Rutschman, the 1-on-1, and when he came up 22, 23, first half 24, it looked like he was the second coming of Buster Posey. I'm like, ooh, this guy's good. But the last couple of years, we haven't seen Adley Rutschman. I mean, for whatever reason, the Baltimore Orioles have just tanked. Baltimore's hitters have just not been the same. You know, Jackson Holliday hasn't produced like a former top prospect should. You know, Gunnar Henderson's OPS has nearly been cut in half. Callis is below. I don't know what's happened. But Adley Rutschman, yeah, he's dealt with injuries, but for whatever reason, the power numbers, whew. And with a year plus to go, the Orioles basically say goodbye. Maybe say goodbye to this era because they traded Adley Rutschman to the Boston Red Sox. Now, Boston paid a pretty penny, giving up their #2, #4, and #5 process being Anthony Anderson, Kyson Witherspoon, Andy Astor, Skull, Carlos Narvaez, and a player to be named. Now, Baltimore's in the unique case. The Orioles have a great young catcher in Samuel Basello on a team-friendly deal, so they're fine catching. But Boston, I think what Boston's thinking is not just Rutschman offensively, but his leadership and ability to call games on the plate, a little like Jason Varitek. And the Red Sox won those World Championships 2004, 2007 with Varitek. Switching and catching was great at calling a game. Adley Rutschman does that. Now he's a big guy. He's what 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", but Adley's the calling a game. And catchers now have to think more, or not just about putting down the sign and figure out when to throw that. Okay, we're going to throw this guy up and in, down and away, jam off the plate. More than that, because catchers not only have to worry about calling a game, but have to worry about challenges, foul balls hitting the pitch clock figuring out, okay, let's go. Figuring out the guy on first going to seal, and worry about whether or not a foul ball is going to take off my head. And I think with velocity, I even heard on MLB Now, who knows if some of these concussions aren't being diagnosed. I mean, we don't know if catchers are playing hurt. I mean, nobody wants. I mean, nobody wants to leave a game. But who knows truly if some of these foul tips off the mats are really hurting guys. I mean, potentially, but I think in 2026, especially, I mean, Adley Rutschman's already missed time with concussion this year, so there is a great possibility these guys aren't being diagnosed with concussion. But, rare to see a 20-something-year-old, 28-year-old not really produce. Now, better this year, but, and also rare to see a number one pick traded in it. I mean, some number one picks take forever. I mean, we've seen the guy in Colorado. I can't think of his name. 2016. Mickey Moniak. Yeah, Mickey Moniak was a potential target of teams. He ended up signing and staying in Colorado, but Moniak took time to develop. Sometimes with these top picks, they take time to develop, and but I don't know what's going on. Maybe Baltimore is going to drafting guys, but not developing and fulfilling expectations. And maybe Baltimore also lacks that veteran leader. There's not somebody to say, hey guys, we do this. You're fine, you're fine, you're fine. Baltimore's got a lot of young guys, and maybe that lack of leadership, that lack of experience hurts. Hurts. But, you know, it is funny how a great core has seemingly underwhelmed the last couple of years. Now, this trade's going to be one we talk about for a long time. Because if Adley Rutschman's the piece the Red Sox need, okay. But if Adley Rutschman continues to slide, well, the Red Sox just gave up 3 top 5 prospects, yeah, for a year and a half of Rutschman. But the Orioles now could reboot or maybe retool and use some of these guys because, I mean, I think a couple of these guys will be in the big leagues in the next year or so. Adley Skubal. So I saw him a lot in I saw him at JetBlue, and I think he's really good. He's only 19, and he's good. He is good. Good. Witherspoon, Ison's prospect. I mean, the Red Sox gave up a ton, without a doubt. Now, but the Red Sox are playing great baseball, and I think what Craig Bruss is saying is, we're not worried about the prospect capital. We want to win. We'll reward the guys. And the Red Sox did that not just with Rutschman, but trading Marcelo Mayo for a mineral reliever. The Red Sox traded Marcelo Mayo for Eric Miller. Now, Eric Miller is a very interesting left-hand pitcher. He's got a crazy strikeout ratio, 12 to 6, but he's striking out nearly 6 batters per. He's striking out nearly 12 guys per 9 innings. But he's always been a high walk guy. He's always been a high walk guy. Now, Eric Miller's not making any money. He's got 3 over. He's not even hit over trades until 27. But Marcelo Meyer is going to be interesting and wonder what happened. Because how can Marcelo Meyer go from being one of the top prospects in baseball to now, number 4 pick in 2021 to now trade? Now, maybe part of Meyer's problem is he's a California guy and now playing in Boston. Maybe Red Sox Nation is putting too much pressure on him. Plus, Mel Meyer's often been hurt. He's hurt again. And I think what the Red Sox see is the ability not just to get better, but an impactful lefty Miller, make the bullpen stronger, longer, shorten the game, because the Red Sox have a great back end the bullpen with Garrett Whitlock and Aroldis Chapman. So adding Miller gives the Red Sox a power lefty, a great righty, and Aroldis Chapman. They can really shorten games. But did the Red Sox pony up too much for Rutschman and Miller? Well, we'll see. And you could argue in some ways the Red Sox didn't necessarily get a middle infielder, didn't necessarily get another starting pitcher. But maybe what Boston's hoping for, Roman Anthony comes back. Maybe Garrett Crochet comes back. Maybe Trevor Story comes back. Though I'm not sure Story will ever come back, but we'll see. Another fascinating trade. Luis arrives to the Philadelphia Phillies. I think we all knew Luis arrives to get him moved. The Giants have been awful this year, and Buster Posey needed to move arrives. But also in this case, moved the Phillies also acquired Caleb Keelan. Yeah. But coming in today, Luis arrives 324 batting average, so great contact guy, never strikes out, great bat to ball guy. Yeah. But in this case, the Phillies added somebody who they didn't have in their lineup. The Phillies all a streaky offense, but for whatever reason this year, Philadelphia's offense not been great. Probably too inconsistent. Well, what Arise would do is give them more consistency. He'll put the ball in play. He won't hit the same home runs or steal the same bases, but he'll be able to. But he'll get them hit. Look, Luis Arise already a double and an RBI in his Philly debut tonight. So Arise hitting clean. Arise is just going to make that Philly offense better. I mean, we're seeing Kyle Short DH, lead off. I wouldn't be surprised if Arise leads off, but another interesting aspect of this deal. Look at the Phillies defensive. They have changed so much in like 2 days. Arise playing second base, which he's done pretty much all year for the Giants, but Alec Bohm playing first base, Bryson Stott playing third base, and Bryce Harper playing right field for the first time since 2022. So, the Phillies all changing. Now, Bryce Harper, until 22, played his whole career on the outfield, but, he hasn't played there. He dealt with the elbow injury, so what's going to happen? Because the Phillies may be sacrificing too much defense in this year. Now, that's going to be interesting to see what happens. And, by the way, the Red Sox got 5 runs in the first inning tonight. Caleb Durbin, RBI grand slam. Ah, shoot. I think that's off my pitcher, too. Yeah, Davis Morton, 135 EOA. That ain't good. That's not good. Oops. Oops. Oh, excuse me. That's not good. Good. Oops. Can I have a redo on Davis Morton pitching against the Sox tonight? Oh, I lied. 6-0. Ah! At least he got an out. Oh, Lord. Oh, yeah. And by the way, Keelan, not some throwaway. He's actually decent hard throw. And the Phillies also got Brooks Raley from the Mets. And by the way, I think Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, and Brandon March are happy that Raley's in Philadelphia, not on some other NL team, because Raley, I pretty much own the Phillies' big left-handed bats. But Phillies' offensive strangely not great. Now we'll see if Trey Turner can get it going. Maybe Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber don't swing and miss. I mean, Harper and Schwarber have been big this year, but can the Philly offense get deeper and maybe less swing and miss, more contact? Because everybody wants the ball put in play. So, now I'm gonna try and rapid fire some of these trades. Starting with the NL West, obviously Dodgers only got Skubal. They got Chris Bassett. I mean, Dodgers are gonna have a million left-handers potentially. The D-backs got Walls Newtball yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, from the Cardinals. The Padres made a couple sneaky moves right at the deadline, getting Robbie Ray from the Giants and Casey Mize, two veteran starters going into that San Diego rotation. The Padres, I don't know how AJ Preller does it year after year, but the Padres have no financial flexibility, no prospects, and yet AJ Preller finds a way of improving his team. I mean, every time. And all those rumors about the Padres trading Mason Miller or those relievers, nah, forget about it. San Diego, the Padres are the only thing in town, and I love it. Now, AJ Preller might not be worried about 28 or 29. He's worried about trying to win this year. And the Padres draw a couple, 2-3 million fans. So I love that the Padres are going for it, and I think more teams should. Plus, San Diego's played great baseball. This year. I think Robbie Ray's got like a 109 ERA his last 8 or 9 starts. Casey Mize, a former #1 overall pick out of Auburn, 2018. So I think those two guys, and with how good San Diego's bullpen is, if the Padres get 5-6 innings, forget about it. I mean, Mason Miller could throw a 120 in that raid. Piece. I mean, Giants really sold off a lot of pieces, not just Arise, but yesterday was not necessarily about talent reduction in terms of who left, but a talent accumulation from Buster Posey. And by the way, I don't think Rafael. I wonder what Rafael Devers thinks about the Giants now. Just saying so. And then the Rockies, well, they're the Rockies. By the way, the Giants also trade Elliot Ramos to the Yankees. Yankees, thank you. I knew there was another trade involved. Balls, new ball. AL West, well, the Astros got Dalton Varsho. So, been a below average hitter this year, but but great center field defensively and can hit a little bit. Then I think the Blue Jays got Spencer already back, so he's on the IL, but got multiple years of control. With Varsho, the Astros are hoping Varsho can rediscover the form of a few years ago, of last year, excuse me. And for the Blue Jays, they sort of bought and sold piece getting Soriano. By the way, the Angels trade Soriano. A couple other guys. I like some of the prospects the Angels got back. The A's. Texas really didn't have much of a deadline. There were rumors last night about maybe the Rangers trade Jacob deGrom, but that really didn't go anywhere because deGrom vetoed his trade to Atlanta. And by the way, the Braves could have done a little more of their rotation, but that's either near or there. I think what the thought is, you know what, maybe we get Corey Seager healthy and make a run. And then, of course, Seattle trade Luis Castillo, but added Taylor Ward. Now, the Wolves this year's got a great on-base percentage, but he's not hitting for any power. And we know T-Mobile Park's not exactly a great ballpark for anybody, but particularly righty. So we'll see what Taylor Ward does in the Great Northwest. AL Central, the White Sox added some pieces of Luis Castillo. Oh, by the way, yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Brendan Doyle from the Rockies. So the Rockies did trade, Connor, excuse me, Brendan Doyle, sell a few other guys. White Sox also got Joey Bard. Bottom. And, Brassabin from the Mets. Thank you, Bottom. I love the fact that the White Sox are buying. They've been an unbelievable story this year. The question is, do the White Sox have the ability to finish? Because that's the Guardians proved last year. It's one thing to play well for 4 months, but what's going to happen in the dog days of August and September? Because this is when the real season starts. Train's over. It's now, what can the 26 guy or 28 guys starting September 1st do? And the Guardians made some moves. I mean, Cleveland made some moves. Usually Cleveland's very passive around the deadline. But the Guardians made some nice moves, getting Joel Adell from the Angels, Nathaniel Lowe, and Foster Griffin. Griffin's been an unbelievable story, all-star, back from Japan this year. Washington, of course, Daniel Lowe eats up right-handed pitching. So Philly's first baseman haven't been great this year. So Lowe could be into a platoon there. And I saw somewhere on MLB Network where the Guardians, where Cleveland's right-handed bats have the fewest at bats in Major League Baseball this year. And that's by a long way. That's not by like 2 or 10. That's like by a couple hundred. And in this trade, the Guardians only get a potential potential big right-handed bat, but great defense this year. I mean, Joe Adell's already made 2 or 3 home run robbery catches. So a really good move. Lowe's got a 480 OPS, 266, 341, 480 slash line this year. 12 home runs, so chase the lotto. I mean, he'll be in the platoon there, so really like those moves. The Twins get AJ Minter, so Minnesota holding on to Joe Ryan, Byron Boston, getting AJ Minter. Tigers mentioned trading Skubal and Mize in Kansas City. Not really doing much. I mean, did trade, who was it? The Braves. Braves. Lane Thomas and Bailey Falter. So Thomas could be a nice platoon hitting outfielder. Falter could be a depth piece for the Braves. NL Central to me, the Brewers are probably one of the biggest losers. Now, I mean, they did get Dustin May, Jojo Romero, but Jacob Mizorowski needed a Robin to the Batman. But you know, I understand Milwaukee not wanting to give up prospects, but in this move, in this market, when the Dodgers were vulnerable or potentially vulnerable, that could be a move that the Brewers regret going forward, and we will see what happens. Especially when the Cubs added Kevin Gausman, Clay Holmes, Simon Taylor. I think another reliever from the Angels, Zephyr Hans. Zephyr John, thank you. For John this year. So Gausman, of course, postseason experience with the Blue Jays, been extremely durable, basically makes every start. Now, I don't know if Gausman's what he was a few years ago, but Gausman's always going to pitch. Great ground ball guy. So Cubs play great defense. So Gausman's going to love that infield behind him. And the Clay Holmes, same thing. Great ground ball guy. Coming back from a broken leg. So thankfully not an arm, elbow, or lat issue. And the Mets also threw in Tyrone Taylor. I don't know if he's got any more years left. Yeah, so he's done after this year. So two potential free agents, but the Mets also got a sneaky good get in Jefferson Rojas, top another 63rd overall prospect. So number 2 prospect, the Cubs organization, 15 home runs this year, Double-A Knoxville. So could be a nice get for David Stearns and the Cubs. And the Mets, and the Cubs get 2 impact starters and a potential full outfielder in Taylor for late game purposes. By the way, interesting. The New York Mets sold and the Pittsburgh Pirates bought. And I think the Pirates made one of the best trade deadline moves yesterday, getting Luke Weaver, who's been outstanding this year for the Mets. 1.84 ERA, a potentially end up as the closer for the Pirates. Also got another year of control, so not just a pure rental. I know he's got postseason experience pitching in New York. Look, and the Pirates desperately needed bullpen help. They got it not just with him, but a couple other guys. Getting Kirby Yates, and Luke Batshaw, excuse me, I don't know if that's how you say his name, but I really like, and also leave from the Yankees. I really like what the Buccos did yesterday. The Pirates can smell a playoff berth, and they're going for it. Pirates could have held firm. Nope. Give Ben Cherington credit for being aggressive. So, and the Cardinals, the Cardinals were interesting to me. Growing up being a Cardinal fan, know the team well. First year of a new president of baseball, Bloom. So maybe coming in a more objective view. Cardinals probably overachieved early, so maybe some positive optimism. But losing an inexcusable game to the D-backs, the Cardinals decided we're not ready. So they traded Jojo Romero, Dustin May, Newt Ball, Well, I still think the Cardinals are a year or two away. Now, maybe ultimately the Cardinals held on to all the guys too long. And in this case, maybe step back a notch and be better in 27, 28. Because Cardinals have got some young pieces, Jordan Walker, the second baseman, Hall. Just going to be interesting to see what happens the next 7, 8 weeks. And the Reds, well, yeah, not sure the Reds knew yesterday was the MLB trade deadline. Oh, by the way, the Red Sox also gave up Conley early from Curtis Mead. AL East, the Rays were busy, not just getting Freddie Peralta from the Mets. Now, Peralta's not been great this year, but looking at the underlying numbers, I think it's a sneaky good pick in that. He is pitching in Denver tonight, so we'll see what happens there. But, the Mets defense has been great. Defense. Defense has been great, but, maybe the Rays seem to do yeoman's work with pitchers, a lot like what Dave Duncan used to do in St. Louis. I mean, Kyle Steiner does an unbelievable job with the Rays pitchers, so it wouldn't surprise me if Freddie Peralta looked like Freddie Peralta in Milwaukee, but I think it's a good gamble, no real calls financially for the Rays, so Rays, very Ray-like move yesterday, a couple days ago, getting Peralta. Then Tampa giving up Aiden Smith, Gary Kill, and Pete Trade. The Rays also need another starter with McClanahan on the IL, with Rasmussen, Nick Martinez, and who's the other guy? But interesting to me that the Mets gave up 2 top 10 prospects, or 2 top 5 prospects maybe, for Peralta, and got back lesser prospects from the Rays. So, not a good deal for David Stearns. By the way, the Rays also got Liam Hicks. Now, Hicks this year's been great with the Marlins. The Rays have needed catchers forever, seemingly. So, Tampa's got a great top part of the lineup with Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Hernandez, and Junior Caminero. But they need somebody else. Well, Liam Hicks is that somebody else. He's got Tampa is a lot like Toronto last year. Puts the ball in play. He's got power, and not just a runner. This guy's team control until 2031. So the Rays got out this guy for 5 years. Now, I mean, they give up a full first round, but I'm not sure. I think Peter Bendix helped his old team more than helping his own team with what the Marlins got back for Mr. Hicks. But I think the Rays are really going to enjoy Liam Hicks' ability at catcher. Sure. I mentioned a couple of the Red Sox moves. They did trade Conley early for what is his name? For Curtis Mead, and then Curtis Mead, basically Red Sox debut, breaks his wrist, so don't look right. Now to the Yankees. To me, I understand why the Yankees made the moves. I just don't think the Yankees went after the right players. Obviously, the Yankees were not going to give up George Lombard Jr. because he's making his major league debut now. But the Yankees needed to get a catcher, a reliever, and somebody who could play short of third. Then, yeah, struck on all three. Adley Rutschman will help against lefties. Left is this year. He's this year. I don't know if he's in the lineup tonight. Actually, Ramos is in the lineup. I'm hitting cleanup for the Yankees. Thank you. Okay, Ramos playing left field for the Bronx Bombers, but to me, I look at the Yankees and wonder, might New York have been better off getting a left side infield? Because I get Adam Ramos, I get Adam Luis Garcia, great year for the Nats. He'll help particularly against right-handed pitching. But all this talk about Ben Rice maybe going to catch. I don't think Ben Rice is necessarily a great defensive player. He's just a really good bat. But the Yankees have taken power over defense. And in this case, I think potentially the Yankees are sacrificing the potential defense for maybe a little more offense. Now we'll see what happens when Judge, if and when Judge, Stanton, Cody Bellinger return. Plus, the Yankees have got some interesting pitching options coming off the IL with Carlos Rodon, Carl Schmidt. Who knows if Cam Schlitter will have some kind of an innings limit. And Ryan Weathers, Will Warren. The Yankees are going to be interesting. Plus, that bullpen fence still feels light to me. There's not really a guy to get the last 3 outs of a big-time postseason game. David Bednar. Oh boy, that's going to be interesting. And, time flies in Major League Baseball. The Blue Jays, 2 outs from winning a World Series. Now they're trading Kevin Gausman and Dolan Volsha. So, 2 free agents, so obviously Toronto's not going anywhere. But the Blue Jays also made a curious move, adding Jose Soriano. So maybe short-term pain with those guys, but long-term gain. Soriano's was unbelievable to start the year. He's what you like to call swing and miss all kinds of potential, and giving Toronto a fascinating 1-2 punch with Dylan Cease, potential Cy Young guy this year. But the Blue Jays also gave up a top 50 prospects in Mala, 20-year-old shortstop. Now, Blue Jays have got another really good shortstop, but the Angels got a top 50 prospect and a couple other prospects for Soriano. So, Toronto trading a couple potential free agents, but acquiring Jose Soriano with, let me see, with 2 more years of control after this year. So the Blue Jays are going to have Soriano for what? The rest of 26, all of 27, and all of 28. So the Blue Jays could have 3 bites at the cherry for Soriano. And then obviously the Orioles trading, I think the Rays also got Taylor Wells from the Orioles. Thank you. Yeah, the Rays also got Taylor Wells from the Orioles, and he's got another year of control, so Um, and then Annalise. I'm befuddled by what the Braves didn't do. It seemed like the Braves wanted to have a bunch of depth starters, but for whatever reason, a Brett Suter, I mean, might be a guy out the bullpen, who knows? But it seemed like Alistantopoulos, despite Atlanta's farm system being better, was unable to make a big time move. The Braves have needed a number two starter all year. I mean, Chris Sale has been unbelievable. I may win another Cy Young. But unless there's going to be about 8 rainouts, the Atlanta Braves don't have a number two starter. This is the team that needed a Robbie Ray, that needed somebody to pitch, a Siliano. I understand the Braves not wanting to get rid of Cam Benetti, but Tyler Mahle from the Giants, that's not, Bailey Falter, that's not going to be enough. And to be honest with you, this Brave team's playing too well, and I'm not saying the Braves are going to choke, but if I'm in that Braves clubhouse right now, I'm thinking, why didn't we get another good starting pitcher? Even Kevin Gausman would have made sense. And it's go get Kevin Gausman, go get a Robbie Ray. No, right? I mean, I understand maybe the Braves think we don't have a chance to beat the Dodgers. So what? Braves won the National League in 2021. Why can't they do it again this year? I think the Braves don't. I mean, we saw and I think there were a few teams that needed a starting pitcher. I think the Phillies needed a starting pitcher. I think the Yankees needed a starting pitcher. They could have gotten Peralta. They could have gotten Casey Mize. Instead, they got, depth starters or bullpen pieces or long men out of the bullpen. Those aren't going to work in October. And for the Mets, I like some of the moves they got back. Some of the prospects they received. Some of the moves in the end didn't work out. But getting Jefferson Ross, I think he'll be good. The Nats, interesting. The Nats and the Marlins potentially on the outside on the potential playoff spot trading guys. Luis Castillo, me, a couple other guys, and of course the Marlins trading Liam Hicks and Braxton Taylor. So some teams, the Orioles, the Nats, Cardinals, Nats, Cardinals, Marlins, trade away guys, but the Pirates, Padres added guys. So just interesting how some teams added, some teams took away. A couple guys I was surprised didn't get moved. Little surprised Reed Detmers didn't get moved, or more of the controllable guys. Excuse me. It seemed like Soriano was like the only controllable starting pitcher beyond this year to get moved. A lot of the Reynolds went. Maybe Zach Neto. I thought more of the controllable piece would get moved, but those guys could potentially be moved in the off season. There is an off season, but who knows what. But with the CBA lockout looming on December 1st, the off season could go on a while for all we know. And a couple winners. You got to put the Dodgers one. They got the biggest piece. They got the biggest fish. Tarik Skubal makes the Dodgers an even bigger favorite for the World Series this year. LA's going for 3 in a row. Get the biggest star in the biggest market. I love what the Guardians did getting Griffin, Lowe, and Adele, and the Rays picking up not just Wells, not just Peralta, but Liam Hicks from the Miami Marlins. Look back and think, Liam Hicks, if the Rays end up in the Fall Classic, Liam Hicks could be a huge reach not just offensively. By the way, interesting that two AL East teams acquired catchers yesterday. How's that going to be learning a new pitching staff in the middle of a pennant run? We'll see what Hicks and Rutschman do. So, made it an hour. Spunky Spectrum Sports Big D podcast. I'm probably in a best ball. I'm in way too many best ball drafts to count, but this is Dylan signing off for now. Now, now, after a wild, crazy, and whirlwind 24 and whirlwind day, starting in Springfield, Illinois, almost ended up being traded, and now back here in the state of Florida, Bella Taylor. So this is the Big D signing off for now.